Hipper here. So, we have reached no less than 5,000 subscribers. We actually have been on that number or around that number for a while. But I don't know, YouTube has had some kind of seizure lately, so the subs have gone up and down and up and down. And so now we're at 5,013. So I think, okay, I can make the video now. So this is a special 5,000 sub, well, special. And I'm kind of inspired by a video that my friend Hustle did. If you don't know Hustle, then well, Hustle XZ or XZ or whatever you say in America, boy. He has his own channel as well, and he did a sort of a get to know me video, and I thought that's actually a pretty good idea. So I'll try to replicate his shenanigans here in this video here, and also obviously because some of you have asked me for a well, not a 5K special, but well, some of you asked for that as well, but more of a video like this. So that's what we're going to do today. So first of all, I guess I can tell you my name is Nick, and many of you already know that because back in the beginning when World of Warships was new and out in 2019, I was very active on Facebook under my own name, and I know lots of you members of the community, and you know me as well. Of course now I'm Hipper, but I'm also Nick. Anyway, many of you think that I'm actually based in Europe, but I'm not. I am European by birth, Danish actually, but now I am Australian these days, and I live in Australia as well, just a few hours north of Sydney. I have been playing games for more than 30 years now, both in a professional capacity and obviously also in a recreational capacity, probably more that. I have been a game reviewer. I'm not anymore. I used to be for 10-15 years, and I think my backlog of reviews counts nearly 1,000 titles across all sorts of platforms. I even had my own review site back in the early 2000s, but then I gave that up. Too much work, really is. Games start to not be fun anymore when it turns into your work. Trust me on that one. When you get 5 copies of NBA 2001 that you have to review for every console, yeah, and you don't play NBA games, trust me, it's not fun. But having a World of Warships Legends channel is a lot of fun actually, and it does take time, yeah, and it takes effort and it takes some commitment, but I mean, it's not bad, and I really enjoy it. And not just doing the videos, but I enjoy the interaction with you, the subscribers to the channel, and everybody who comments on the videos, and share your opinion, and we get some nice conversations going. That's really the main thing for me. So anyway, did I mention my first console was the Sega Master System 2? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but now I've said it perhaps twice. And that's kind of the thing that got me into gaming, with Alex Kidd and Sonic and all that stuff on it. And then after that I went on to PlayStation for a few years, and then I got a Nintendo 64 that stayed with me for a long time. I still have it actually. Nintendo 64 was the high point actually for many years until Xbox 360 came out. I played that a lot. I played Battlefield Modern Combat 2 on a professional level. That's back in the day before there really was that, that much of a community around professional play. But I didn't have the time to keep it up, and I haven't really been playing Battlefield after that, honestly. So how did I get into World of Warships? Well, back in the day on, I believe it was Xbox 360 actually. Yeah, it was. I played a game called Battle Stations Pacific, which probably the best, well, World War II naval game out there. Obviously Legends is also good, but it's good in a different way, and they're probably probably around the same level. Just they do different things basically. I played that game a lot, especially in multiplayer. And if you played that game, you know how long it takes to reach Admiral status in multiplayer. That takes a long time. If you think the grind in Legends is hard, you should see the grind in that game. Anyway, I made it, and I still have the game, and I still play it. And then there wasn't really anything coming out after that game. I think it must have been 2012 or something like that. And then there was a vacuum until 2019 when Legends finally came out. And in the years between, I tried playing World of Tanks, and I was like, don't like it much, and I still don't like it much. I also tried to play World of Warships on PC, and although it was better, I just couldn't get into it. I like to play on console. Like, I used to play on PC many years ago, but I've given that up. It's just too much trouble. I can't be bothered, honestly. I just want to plug my console in, HDMI in, and turn on and play. That's it. I don't want to do all sorts of installations and updating drivers and all that stuff. No way. Not doing that anymore. My time is all about gaming now. I don't want to waste a minute on getting a PC up and running and all that stuff. Never. So anyway, 2019, I believe it was in April. It's actually about this time, 3 years ago, that Legends was released on Xbox, and I had been like noticing the game, so I downloaded it day one and started playing, and I had a lot of fun, and I spent a lot of time, like farting around and doing crazy things as you always do in a new game, and I like was grinding all the lines, or all the lines, because back then there was only three nations, and the British only had, I believe, the battleship line, and so it was very limited. So every time you went into a tier 7 battle, and usually you had to wait 2, maybe 3 minutes to get into a tier 7 battle back in the day, back when Daddy was young here. It took a while, and once you got into the battle, everybody was either playing Iowa or Amagi, and that was it. And there was never any cruisers in the battles. If I played cruiser, I was always the only cruiser in the battle, and that was good back then, because it meant like heaps of battleships to farm. And we got some nice premiums along the way, like a Targo, and when that ship came out, actually that's not true. I started fiddling with what I became known for, which is Agile cruisers, and it's really nothing special. I just put a different commander on than the majority of other people, and that's it. It's not like I've invented like the wheel. So anyway, I ended up putting that different commander on because my philosophy in Legends is that it's sort of a role-playing game. I mean, you have 3 classes, 4 now with carriers, but we don't count carriers. I hate carriers. So we have 3, 4 classes, and in my opinion, every class you play differently. And battleships, I mean, they're the tanks. They're the tough guys of the game. They have armor and they hit hard, but they're not exactly maneuverable. And then you have the destroyers, who are like quite maneuverable, but they rely more on stealth and assassin techniques, just like in a role-playing game, really. And then you have the cruisers. And my problem back in the early days was when I saw other people play cruisers, they pretty much played them like battleships. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, but why have a whole other class in the game if you don't at least have the option of playing it differently? So that's when I looked at the commanders and I thought, okay, we have this commander here that actually gives good rudder. Perhaps that's an alternative to playing cruisers with like full concealment or full range and all that stuff. And like everybody did that back in the day. You would see Baltimore's, and they would sit next to an Iowa side by side or whatever and do exactly what the Iowa did. So why wouldn't you just play an Iowa? Like, yeah, you miss out on the radar, but that's it. So that's why I thought, okay, I'm not gonna do that, because when I did that, I was pretty bored. Like I said, if I want to do that, I'm going to play an Iowa then. If I want to play a cruiser, I want to have a different experience in the game. Just like I get an entirely different experience when you play a destroyer over a battleship. So I treat Legends kind of like a game of Diablo, actually, except you don't really get any loot. Well, I guess you can call the commander progression items loot, sort of. Anyway, so I pick my class first, and then I adjust the details with my commanders and the ship setup. And I just go rudder on my cruisers because I find it a lot more fun, and it gives me a different, well, a totally different playstyle to when I play battleships or when I play destroyers. So battleships, like I said, all about armor and, you know, huge damage numbers. Destroyers all about sneaky tactics and capping and assassins and stuff like that. And cruisers are all about agility and you know, just versatility. And that's what I like. That's how I think the game should be. And I do think that perhaps wargaming should cater a little bit more to that aspect of the game, because like nothing is more boring than a game where everybody has the same cookie cutter build on their ship and everybody plays the exact same way, and it just makes the game boring, and it also makes for a game that won't last long. I've been playing World of Warships since it came out, so yeah, just about 3 years now, give or take a few days. And I just checked my Xbox account, and I don't suggest you do that. And it turns out I've been playing more than 143 days of World of Warship Legends, and that's a lot for me. It's my most played game by far, even more than Skyrim or Fallout or anything like that. Probably like 4 or 5 times more playtime. And that's nothing compared to some of the other players I know, because you can do comparisons on Xbox, and I have been doing a few comparisons. And I tell you, there's people there with more than 300 days of time spent in game, and that's 24-hour days. It's not, you know, so that is a substantial amount of time, and that's a good thing, because it shows that people love the game and they come back every time there's a new update. There's something new and interesting to come back to, and I like that. I think wargaming are doing their best to accommodate different playstyles, and that's a good thing. I don't know if you remember, probably 2 years ago, when the legendary battleships came out, they knocked 10% off the rudder of all the tier 7 cruisers. And that really made for excellent Agile cruisers. I mean, they were good up until then, but because of that, you can pretty much make every tier 7 cruiser an Agile cruiser now. And that works out well for me, because that's how I like to play the game. And I should also obviously mention that along the way I've made a lot of good friends playing this game, as you do in pretty much every game. I remember one of the first guys was a puzzle I mentioned earlier. I think we met in early 2020 when we were discussing something through messages on Xbox, and yeah, well, still talk to him. And then along the way we got other people like Peak and Where Are You Aaron and Yankonomics and so many people, and it's kind of gotten me into playing more in a division, which I didn't used to do. Don't even know why. I just didn't really enjoy it much. I did start to like it when I was playing with not Cerberus. Probably that must be nearly 2 years ago now. But then it kind of just went in the back again for about a year. But now it seems to have, come out again. And why not? I mean, it's a different aspect of the game that I haven't touched much upon earlier. So why not? And then, of course, I want to mention the wargaming staff as well, the community managers and the senior community managers and whatever they're called. Because obviously I'm a community contributor, and I think I'm only one of the only contributors who had 2 stints in the program. I'm sure you remember. I was a community contributor in I can't remember. I was for a while. And then I decided to leave, and I was gone for actually exactly a year. And then I came back, and good to be back. And I don't really want to get into the details there. I mean, it's water under the bridge, and we have entered a new chapter. Let's put it like that. But during the time I wasn't a CC, the channel was doing really well. I added more than 3,000 subscribers in that year, and you guys seem to love what I'm doing, so I just kept doing what I was doing, basically. And obviously, Wargaming likes my stuff as well, so I'm back in the fold. And then one of the things I just wanted to mention here that happened more than a year ago, I can't remember. Anyway, it's been a while ago, was the ability to download your stats of the Legends website. That has really been a big thing for me, because I want to finish this video here off with the things that I would like to see going forward in the game, and obviously stats is something that I would like to see. I mean, I've been asking for that since the game came out. And when the game first came out, we didn't even have the basic stats we have now. And although I have my criticism of the current stats and the way they're presented in the game, doesn't like it. If you're a statistician, you won't like it. But anyway, that can definitely be improved, and it shouldn't be very difficult to do. Wargaming, are you listening? That's obviously one of my big wishes for the future, and my second wish is that Wargaming gets around to implementing clan support into the game. Please. I still don't understand why the game doesn't have it. Because at the moment, like when you want to play with your friends, you have to do this like medieval count-ins where like everybody tries to work out the delay on a stream or your friend's game, and you say, oh, count down from 3 and then click go. Who does that these days? Honestly, Wargaming, get on it. So obviously, yeah, that's something we need. It's a team game, and there's no way of playing teams in it. It's baffling, honestly. Hopefully this year, early this year, actually, we should get something. I still don't know what. But it was mentioned late last year in an update on clans that I believe they said spring this year something would happen. So I guess we'll see what is actually going to happen. And then the last thing I would like to see is just a little bit more focus on non-meta builds. By that I mean non-cookie cutter builds. If you put a new build on your battleship that's not all about dispersion. For example, I know not many people do that, but I really think it's worth it. Spice up your game a little bit here. So I think that's all I wanted to cover here. I believe so. So I just want to say thank you for subscribing to the channel, and obviously for watching my content as well. That's the whole point, isn't it? I mean, this game has been going strong for 3 years now, and I mean, I don't know how many people play it, but I mean, Wargaming keeps those numbers secret even to CCs. But I'm assuming we're still growing. Perhaps it's been a little bit challenging here in the last month or two with some international things going on that no one really likes. But I guess we'll bounce back from that. I don't know. I don't know if it even plays a role. Who knows? Anyway, I think I'll stop the video here before it gets too long. That's about getting into like the 20 minutes now. That's too long. So again, thank you for subscribing, thank you for watching, and most of all, thank you for commenting and liking and joining me on streams, and when I play alone, and when I play with Peak and Aaron and Hustle and whatever. Like that's why I do it, and the more interaction, the better, guys. So that's it, and thanks for watching.